This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1144 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks, brought to you today by Kentucky Performance Products. Hello, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today, Glenn is going to join me to chat about using ground poles to help fence walkers. Well, stop walking the fence. And we'll get right to it after this from Kentucky Performance Products. How is Summer Games different from other electrolyte products? Summer Games Plus contains the same electrolyte formulation as Summer Games Electrolyte, which was originally formulated for the horses competing at the 1996 Olympics. The formulation was based on the results of research conducted in anticipation of the Games, which were held in Atlanta, Georgia, known for its hot, humid summers. Summer Games mimics the composition of equine sweat, supplying the horse with the exact amounts and ratios of electrolytes relinquished in sweat. Summer Games Plus contains no sugar, like many popular commercial electrolyte supplements. Summer Games Plus also contains a buffering agent that helps create a soothing gastric environment. This is especially important for horses subjected to the stresses often related to top performance, such as exertion, transportation, and unfamiliar stabling atmospheres. Ask for Summer Games and Summer Games Plus electrolytes at your local tack and feed supplier, or visit kppusa.com. Now, on with today's tip.
So what are we helping people with today other than marriage counseling?
There we go. Oh, boy. Today is fence walkers.
Fence walkers?
Yeah, we've all had that.
Is that a kind of bug? Or?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the irritating little bug in your side. We've all had that horse that lives at our farm that strolls up and down the fence line for hours on end, makes a big ugly path, wears out his legs, wears out his shoes.
Wears out the grass.
Wears out the grass and just makes
digs a hole.
Digs a hole, makes you want to grind your teeth.
Yep.
Having had one of those for many a year, we found this little technique to really, really help a lot. Now, this was a fence walker, not a fence runner. There are some that literally gallop back and forth, and we'll leave that up to you if you want to try this technique. I'm sure it would work. What we did is every 6, 8, 10 feet randomly took a jump rail, leaned it into the fence, preferably close to a fence post so it didn't roll around too much, and then put the end of it on the ground. And we'd put them randomly the entire section that the horse was prone to walking, and found that it was really effective for breaking that cycle. It's kind of like
just walk over them.
No,
Oh.
I mean they would walk over them to some extent, but what would happen is it breaks that pattern. It's kind of like an obsessive compulsive process for a human that washes their hands. Or smoking can be excessive compulsive in addition to addictive. For example, you discover that invariably you have a cigarette after you eat lunch. Well, if you change the behavior pattern in that you do eat lunch in a different place, do something different at the end of the meal, you can help break the cycle of that habit. It was very effective because the horse would have to weave in and out of the poles or step over the poles. And because the poles are set randomly and not in a pattern, the horse has to change the pattern. And it was very effective. And I have used it on a number of different horses and found it to be really successful.
And any kind of pole will work.
Any kind of pole. We used jump rails because they were handy.
Right.
Something longer seemed to work better because sometimes we would use, what do they call, landscaping ties, which are only 8 feet. Didn't find those to work as well as jump rails, which were between 10 and 12 feet.
Yeah.
Somehow the distance from the fence seemed to help it out. But if all you've got are 8 foot long somethings, give it a go.
And just put them randomly, one at 2 feet apart and one at 10 feet apart. Yep.
You got to if you give it a pattern, the horse can figure out the pattern, and it will not be as effective. Well, there you have it. You can find lots more tips at the website, horsetipdaily.com. There's a handy-dandy search bar in the top right-hand corner. Just type in a topic or name of expert that you're looking for, and it'll come right up. Make sure you have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go by downloading the free app for iPhone or Android. Just search Horse Radio Network in your app store, or you can subscribe via iTunes. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of Kentucky Performance Products and listeners like you. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.